Okay, well, let's get going then. Thank you again for spending time with me this morning learning about home actions. My name is Albert Clark, and I'm the creator of the program, and I've personally visited probably 100 to 120 Howard Hanna offices over the last 2.5 years, showing agents how to build what we call top-of-mind awareness. So this program is available to you guys now at a great discount because of the buy-in we have at Howard Hanna corporate headquarters. So what we do for agents is we help them improve their numbers. We know real estate is a numbers game. And the more consistently we can deliver numbers, the more nurturing we can do with our client base, the better our numbers are going to be. I hope you agree with that. Now, why are we specifically on this call today? Given the situation of what's going on with the virus, we're seeing open rates actually double on our newsletters. And when we talk to consumers, we ask them, why all of a sudden do you have such great interest in these newsletters? And what they're sort of telling us is they're relying on their professionals to keep them informed as to what's going on. So Home Actions at minimum is a delivery vehicle for any kind of content you want to get into the homes of your clients, prospects, and friends. So we know they're looking for communications with their professional. And what I'm seeing from what I'm talking with agents and brokers all over the country, I mean, some agents are calling us wondering whether they should continue with this. And what we're saying is, and we're not saying this because we're in business to get money out of agents, but we're going to see a huge pent-up demand for mortgages and homes on the other side of the storm. Interest rates are still going to be in the low threes. And I'm hearing there's going to be a first-time home buyer tax credit coming out of Washington, D.C. to stimulate the economy. There's going to be lots of listings. And agents will need a way to communicate all this and more information to their client base, because that's what you do. You inform people, you're an advocate. And other opportunities are going to come up because you have this platform that now goes out to everybody in your sphere of influence. So today's topics, we're going to get into organization. And when I tell you that 9 out of 10 agents in Howard Hanna don't have a clean, reliable database, I'm not making that up. I've been into all these offices. I do a show of hands when I help agents build their database, and that's what we'll do for you today, is actually build your database today. Agents say, well, I have a database, but it's in 6 different places. Well, that's not being organized. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a unified Home Actions database for you with all your contacts in your email, your GoHanna, MLS, wherever you have contacts. Then we're going to distribute for you engaging content that we know is very actionable and we know is very received very well by the average consumer that gets your newsletter, because it's information about the home and home ownership, not chicken pot pie recipes and moving day tips. Then we're going to help you focus on the segment of your database that's warming up, because we know what's going on, who's opening what. We're going to be able to show you, let me get my camera back here again. We're going to be able to show you who is clicking on this predictive content that we put in for you. And we'll show you what that means in a couple minutes. And finally, prevent defection to Zillow. Right now, most consumers are doing their research behind the agent's back. We want them to do it in front of the agent. So we're building some tools and widgets, which we'll show you again, that's going to help the consumer, your client, prospect, or friend, do their research and no matter what's going on in front of you, so you can make sure they're getting good content. So when I fly all over the country, I ask agents, why can't you do the best possible job of staying in touch? And many of them will throw their hand up and say, Al, I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but I don't have the whole system. So this is a system I've been working on for 19 years. 19 years ago, I built the first ever electronic newsletter for agents. So this is what we're going to talk about today. But having a brand new database that you're proud of, putting it into a pipeline. Once we put it into a pipeline, we're going to nurture for you every 2 weeks. You may have seen some newsletters coming out of your office, or your manager may have an account. And then we're going to give you intelligence on what's going on inside of your database, and finally protecting your database. This might be the most popular feature. What we mean by this is when we put your email addresses in the Home Action system, they become exclusive to you, the first agent that puts them in. So email addresses can only be used once in our system. So a consumer that's getting your newsletter, say next week, will never get a newsletter from Keller Williams or Century 21 or Coldwell Banker out there. So now when I say 9 out of 10, I'm telling you it might be even worse than that. So these are just some of the places where we can go, export all your contacts, clean them all up, show you which ones are bad, and hand you a professional grade database that you can then scrub and take anybody out you want. Okay, other realtors, enemies, whatever it is, you have a chance to take them out, push the button, they go in, they're all exclusive for your night now. We have about 700,000 newsletters going out every month on behalf of Howard Hanna agents. And that agent knows exactly who got what and when and what they clicked on and what they read. So we're going to help you build allegiance, okay, with your sphere of influence. Because every 2 weeks, you're going to help them with tips and widgets and things they've never seen before. And it's going to sort of get across that I'm here to help you manage what you have now, which is the home they're in now. So yes, we talk about real estate issues, but we talk more about home ownership because there's more people into home ownership than there is into real estate. We'll prove that to you. So what is this predictive content that we talk about so often? Predictive content is an article that we write and we put in the newsletter for you. We send to everybody every 2 weeks. And when somebody clicks on that article, reads it, shares it, whatever, we're going to send you a signal. And that signal says that Betty Jane Wilson is probably warming up for a transaction. Look what she just clicked. How's my home equity doing? What's sold down the street? What's my house worth? How's the neighborhood? How's the neighborhood around this listing we're looking at? You see, we've got all this information. We know what consumers want. So again, if we could slow down their trek over to Zillow, keep them in your marketing fold, we're going to do a lot better. So here's a top part of a newsletter. This is one of our generic captions at the top or images at the top. We can build something custom for you. But every 2 weeks, we're going to drop 8 or 9 articles in a newsletter, send it out to everybody. You don't have to do anything. This can be set it and forget it. So it starts out as a newsletter, but ends up as a conversation starter because you know everybody that's doing everything inside of your database, okay? That's what we call predictive metrics. Let's look at the numbers and tell me who I should be in better, closer contact with right now because of the behavior they're exhibiting. That's what it is. So again, we take it from a newsletter to a conversation starter because now you know what's on the mind of your consumers that are reading this. Over on the right there, that's a predictive article, true or false. Do you really need 20% down payment for a mortgage? Do you really have to have perfect credit? And we all know you don't need 20% anymore, right? But that's what the consumers are thinking. So wouldn't you want to talk to 25 people that just clicked on that article? I think you would, right? Because they're looking for down payment money. You have all sorts of resources to help them get into their first home or next home. I don't have that resources, but you can send them to us and we'll build articles for you. Okay, so that true false scenario pans out very well because when somebody opens that article, they're interested in that topic. Now here's another one that is probably our most widely clicked article. Simply, what's sold down the street? Tell me what's sold down the street as fresh as possible because I think my house is worth more than that, or I just want to see what other houses are selling for around here. So what we do is we build this article for you free of charge. We go into the back end of Howard Hanna and we pull out everything that's sold in the last 15 minutes. Get that, 15 minutes going, and we actually put that on the article. See this right here? What's sold down the street 15 minutes ago? In major metropolitan areas, there'll be homes that sold that morning in this report, okay? So all you gotta do is give us 10, 15 zip codes where you wanna be an expert. Boom, we're gonna put all these reports in your Home Actions newsletter. On the left-hand side here, you can see how we're promoting Find It First listings. You can see how we're promoting regular on MLS listings, okay? So we'll do all this content for you. You just have to tell us that you have a listing that you want to be promoting. Over on the right, just some more of our predictive articles. Here's where the rubber meets the road though. For every 100 contacts you have, either a phone number or an email address, 15 of them are probably warming up for a transaction. But in all the other marketing programs out there you may be using, you don't know which 15%, okay? We're gonna tell you because we know what they clicked, opened, and read. Okay, so this is how we're going to help your numbers. Here's another example of predictive content. 7 out of 10 homeowning families have no idea how much equity they have in their home. Well, they'd want to find out, right? They know it's good, but they don't know exactly how much. So again, wouldn't you want to talk to 16 people that just read that article? And we're going to drive them to your CMA request page, right? And then you're going to be able to have this conversation with them. Hey, Bill, I see you got my newsletter. Do you need any help interpreting that data? How about we do a quick CMA for you, Bill, and we tell you what your house is worth, okay? That's what we're all about, creating these conversation starters. So what does it take to be a homeowner advocate? Well, access to good content, knowing what consumers want, delivering it, and tracking it. That's what we do very well for a couple million newsletters every week that we're sending out. Okay, we know what's on the mind of the American consumer, and that could be very helpful in your efforts to attract them. Back again to our defining feature, email exclusivity. Once we or you put contacts in the system for you, they become exclusive. Nobody else can attack them. And we're not going down the street to Keller Williams, Century 21, or anybody else in your area. Probably for the last 2 years, I haven't visited any competing companies in Ohio for Howard Hanna. So that means the Keller Williams agents aren't even going to see this. Now, if you're into social media, we have an entire social media game plan built in, over 1,100 articles in our library that you can take in 5 seconds and slide right into your newsletter or slide it into social media, okay? Takes just a couple seconds to drive an article right in there. You don't have to worry about cutting and pasting pictures, images, text, whatever. So after your newsletter launch, we will call you back because I'm going to take under my wing if you do subscribe to this, and I'm going to show you who you should pay closer contact with. So on the left there, you'll see 1,336 emails were sent for this agent, 615 unique opens. I think this was after about 4.5 hours of the launch. But look at that number to the right of that, 1,016. What that is the total opens. What I'm going to tell you is, and I'm going to prove it to you all the time, half of your agents will open your newsletter multiple times. And you'd say, well, why do they want to do that? Because we send it early in the morning and we know that people will save your newsletter, not as opposed to throwing it out when they first open their phone in the morning. And we're going to show you the times that they open these, okay? So the only way that somebody can open your newsletter twice is if they save your name and your subject line in their inbox. And as they go up and down their email 500 times a day like you and I do, your name and your subject line is stuck in their mind because they see you again and again and again and again. They may open it in 3 days, 4 days, another week. I don't care when it is. I'm just going to tell you that they're going to open it multiple times. And that builds allegiance with your readership. Now, another format we have, another report, is called the article snapshot. Here's where you find out exactly who read what articles. So remember I told you that 40% of consumers who want to know what's sold down the street are probably warming up for a transaction. Look at that middle red arrow there. There's 28 people. Click on the word who. We're going to tell you who wanted to know what's sold down the street. I got to believe that 40% of those people would love to get on a conversation with you because why? They're interested right now in what's going on down the street. So this is a timing thing too. When you get all these emails and these alerts, okay, now anytime somebody clicks on that article, we could send you a text or an email to let you know you should jump on this right now. Now, you wouldn't call up Ellen and say, hey, Ellen, I see you got my newsletter 38 seconds ago, and you clicked on this article, and this article, but you could, right? Because everything is updated live time for you to see this. Here's an example of our referral business. You know, we know many agents, you know, do a poor job at asking for the referral, okay? But after every article is opened and read, we ask the reader to vote on it and tell us and you how well they liked it, okay? And 99% of the time it's all positive. They like the articles. But look at that fourth one down there. Here's where we're asking for referral business. And what we're finding out is that 14% of these forms that come back to you, of course, we see them too, and my editors, 14% have that box checked yes. So I would guarantee you that in the first 2 or 3 launches of your newsletter, we're going to do some referral business for you. Now, it won't be closed business, but it's going to be referral business, right? Opportunities. Because we're asking for the business, but we're returning so much in return. We're delivering so much for your clients, prospects, and friends. Now, for those out there that are using the Moxie Engage system and spending some time putting their contacts in there, we have a solution. After we build your home actions database, okay, because we're going to go into the iCloud, Gmail, AOL, Hotmail, MR, or the MLS, wherever you have contacts, export them, clean them all up, put them into home actions. Then every morning at 2:30, the data is going to go both ways. All of our contacts will go into your home actions or into your Moxie Engage, and all your Moxie Engage contacts that you put in there from your various sources will get nurtured in home actions, right? So you don't have to worry about cutting and pasting email addresses. So that happens every morning if you wanted to. It's an option. Now, some of you may be using the neighborhood news, which I think is a nice touch, once a month touch. But many agents aren't using it because they don't have the zip codes of the consumers. So look what we did here. We put an article in the newsletter, and it's like, Diane and Dino, how's the market doing? And when they click on the newspaper, what's going to come up is a whole bunch of zip codes, and they're able to click on their zip code. They're self-selecting their zip code because they may want to look at another zip code in the area out there. When they click on any zip code, up will come your branded neighborhood news reports, okay? And as soon as somebody did what I just did, you're going to get a text or an email to let you know that Mary Wilson is looking at boom, 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 boom in her neighborhood news, okay? So we're able to catch that enthusiasm. We're able to catch that engagement as soon as possible. And these can go out every 2 weeks, right? If they didn't open it this week, they may open it in the next launch. But right now with Engage, you could only send it once a month, and you can't get global open and click rates like we deliver for you, okay? So that's just a distinction between our version of neighborhood news and what you may be experiencing. So these are the reasons why people are coming to your website saying, I might go to Zillow. We know that once they go to Zillow, they're probably not coming back to your website. So how are we going to help you defeat this $3 billion company? Well, we know why consumers go there. So what we did was we built this widget, and this widget covers 150 million street addresses. There aren't any more than 150 million out there. So what happens is the consumer is interested in their house, grandma's house in Kansas City, 3 of your listings. They want to dig into the neighborhood around the listings even before they call you. This is why they spend about 5 minutes in our report. Now, when they open up your newsletter and click on the widget and they fill out this form, they're going to type in 33700 Woodley Road, okay? You're going to get a text or an email immediately to let you know who wanted what kind of report on what address, okay? And again, a conversation starter, right? Don't call them right now. Wait a little while. When you can, reach out to them by email or phone because you know they're interested in this property. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to bounce out and then go to this report that we're going to pull up. And it pulls up, literally takes about 3/4 of a second to go through 150 million database records. So this is how the report, it opens up right on their screen, just like I did now. So 33700 Woodley Road, there's some demographics on the right. On the left, we know it's a wealthy area. There's a map of the property. Information about the home, year it was built, square feet, cost of living in that area. Now, we know what it costs to live in this area versus any area they might be coming from, so they can do cost comparisons. Income levels in the neighborhood, rent versus own, tax information, average tax bill, recent sales nearby. Remember how I told you everybody wants to know what's sold down the street? This is another way to get it to them in this report. Now, these aren't comps. These are just what's sold going back 3 months in the area. Transportation, how's everybody getting to work? What time do they have to leave to get to work? Are they driving, trains, planes, auto, whatever? Whole bunch of data there. Then we get into the school information, right? We don't tell your client, your prospect, your friend what school their kids will go to. We just tell them where the schools are and they click those blue boxes. And then we have this really cool, then there's some school scores in each one of these records also. Then we have this cool Yelp-inspired life section, right? So tell me the fabric of the neighborhood. What's it like to live around here, okay? Before I even look at open houses, many people look at the neighborhoods around these open houses. So they're going to come in here and they're going to find out where we can go for happy hour, where we can go for fine dining. And this is all within 3 miles of that radius of that property they picked, right? So they're self-selecting, but you know what they're looking at, right? Because you want to find out why they're interested in that neighborhood. Now, it might be, nice beauty salons or something like that. We track all that. And then, I'm sorry, one more click here. We all know that you have to be a pet-friendly realtor these days, right? Because half of your clients have pets. Well, you may not even like pets, but this shows that you do. Yelp-inspired, Yelp-backed listings of Petco stores, animal hospitals, dog walkers, veterinarian services, everything wrapped up in this nice report. So if you have animals around the house and you're looking at a listing, you might say this is, this chalks up pretty well on what we're looking for in a desirable neighborhood. Okay, and this all goes back, to radiuses and listings and what kind of report they pull up. So that's what we call the Neighborhood 360 report. Let me go back and I'll show you another report that we have. Of course, this is the email you'll get after somebody opens that report. okay? So you should always open up your home actions emails that the system sends to you, because it's usually good news. So here, Jeffrey March pulled up a report on Cropseyville, New York, Foster Road. And why does he want this report? I'm selling my house. He probably wanted to see what's sold down the street, right? So we're able to deliver this information that they want on demand. All they have to do is open your newsletter, and it goes out to everybody every 2 weeks, not once a month. That doesn't cut it anymore. Trying to build mind share with consumers. We know that. Okay, so that's the email you get. Then we have the neighborhood navigator, which is simply, tell me what my house is worth. Now, you may have this button or a similar button on your website, but I'll ask you now, and if I was in front of you, I'd do a show of hands. How many hits did you have on your website last night, last week, last year? Okay, aren't a lot of people hitting on that button because they don't know it's there. They haven't been on your website. So we're going to put it in front of them, okay, right on the newsletter every chance we get. So every time it goes out, the neighborhood navigator's in there. You could take this out if you want, and we could replace it with your home value finder, whatever you want. So again, when this form gets filled out, this gentleman is interested in 7715 Bridle Path Lane. The system says your house is worth between this and this. They fill out the box on the right, why they want the report. And again, over here on the right, we're going to see why they want the report, okay? Some more intelligence for you. You're going to get a text or an email with all this information. Jump back on it, get on a conversation. So we send out a lot of emails on behalf of Howard Hanna agents, and we know who's getting them, who's opening, clicking, sharing. That's all done for you. So this is an end-to-end system to get and stay top of mind. And this is what consumers are looking for in these uncertain days. They want stability. They want to know that things are going to be better on the other side of the storm, and we think they will. We're not just saying that. And here's another way. If you're busy these days actually with listings, and many of our agents that use home actions are, they're taking advantage of these opportunities to build databases, right? To be ready to roll once the storm clears. So if you've got any listings now, you want us to build a listing flyer for you, like right here on the left, we can do that for you and push it out to everybody in your database. All you got to do is give us the MLS ID number. We run with it. We send you a proof. And we'll give you a link to your flyer. We'll give you a link so you can put it on social media or anywhere else you want. So if I was in front of you right now in a traditional Tuesday morning office meeting, somebody would be raising their hands and say, Al, great program. How many houses am I going to sell this year because I've subscribed to Home Actions? And I'll give you the Zillow answer, between 0 and 1 billion. I have no idea. But the return on investment from Home Actions comes from several different locations, several different features, okay? Add it all up, and there isn't a program like it in the industry. You can trust me on that one. As I told you at the beginning, I've been doing this for 19 years. So return on investment comes from valuable sources, different tools, different features that we have in the system. Add it all up, and it's going to work for you. If it doesn't work for you, we cancel it and we give you your money back, okay? So nurturing is everlasting. Don't tell me you're going to nurture your database for 6 months, okay? That may not work. We want to worry about the clients, prospects, and friends you have that will be raising their hand in 2 years, right? Because they're not moving today. They may not be moving for 3 or 4 years. But when they raise their hand, they're going to know who to go to because you've been helping them all this while. So in summation, we know what to send. We know how to send it, when to send it. We know how to create these conversation starters for you. And by now, I would hope that you would think that you don't want your clients getting another newsletter from Keller Williams agent or Century 21. That's not going to happen in my program. So you're protected from day one. Your database is going to be nurtured and wrapped up, and no one's going to be able to tack it down the road. Now, let me show you a little system that, well, not a little, it's huge and it's industry breaking, but the idea is industry disruptive, is that we are going to offer this service in the first part of May. This may cost you $20, $25 extra. We're going to give you the first month for free. But what we're going to do is we're going to take all the email addresses that we have in your Home Actions database, okay? We know these are all good email addresses. We're going to blast them up against 1,100 predictive databases and websites. And we're going to see where email addresses are being used. And tell me a little bit more about that, Al. I'm confused. When people are out doing, when people are on the internet, bouncing off websites, buying stuff, email addresses in that account are being used, okay? And used and then documented for what they bought. So our system is going to be able to show you Now, in numbers, we're going to score your email addresses between 14 and 97. Anybody that's an 81 and above, 72% assured to be buying or selling in the next 3 to 6 months. So how do we know that? This is just a rough estimate or rough depiction of how we track email addresses. So we know when somebody shopped on diapers.com last night for the first time. We know who's taking prenatal vitamins, okay? We know who got a divorce recently, had a death in the family. We know who's got a dumpster in their driveway. Now think about that. Well, why would you want access to that? And why would I want to know? Because something's going on in their life, right? Maybe they're just cleaning up to downsize. Maybe they're cleaning up to move to a different zone. Something's going on in their life. So we're able to track all the usage of email addresses, score them with artificial intelligence, and hand you a list of people that you need to stay in touch with because they're 80 or 81s and above. They're in red. I'll go back to that screen one more time. This one right here. Now, many of your email addresses in your system will be scored 18, 20, 30. They're not warming up for anything, okay? They're using the email addresses. We can track that. But the artificial intelligence tells us they're not ready to start working with an agent or even doing any research. Once they go from 50 to 60 to 80, 85, 92, we're going to send you alerts. So you're going to be walking down your floor at your office and your phone's going to go ding, ding, ding. That means Mrs. Jones just went from a 56 to a 91. Something happened in her life the last week or two, which we're tracking now. And we're getting back to you to tell you that she's I won't say a hot prospect, but she's warming up for a transaction because we know what she's doing online. We know what MLSs she's searching on, okay? So take that. Now, we're not going to tell you exactly the criteria, how she became a 97. You're just going to have to trust us. And believe me, we've done a lot of testing with this. It's spot on that Mrs. Jones is 96, 97 for a reason. There's something going on in her life. And we're going to test these out every night, okay? And this is not just a once a month thing. It's blasting these databases once a night to come back and tell you exactly what's going on. Now, wrap all this up. And of course, I hope you agreed it's a system that you can't find anywhere else in Howard Hanna or anywhere else in the industry. So there's 2 ways to subscribe to our plan. And the reason we did these calls on weekends and yesterday and Thursday night is that we're waiving the setup fee. Normally it's $99 setup fee for all our Howard Hanna agents. And then they were paying $69 per month. So what we're doing is we're getting rid of the setup fee, saving $100, and then asking you to come in at $55 for the first month, and then $55 per month, as many months as you want. And then you can cancel if you want. We give you your money back. We give you your database back, but it's $55 per month. So you're saving 69 minus 55 is 15, another $70 there. So it's it's not 154 to start today. There's no setup fee. I got a little typo here. It's only $55 to start today, okay, which is your first monthly fee. There is no setup fee. Forgot about that, sorry. So then that's what we call the monthly plan. If you want to save some more money, there's the quarterly plan, okay? We're saving you $80 more because you're going to make 4 quarterly payments every year as opposed to monthly, okay? So what we're asking for to start the quarterly plan is $145 today, and it will last 3 months. If you want to cancel the program, just tell us before your next quarterly billing and we'll cancel it, okay? So what we've got here is an opportunity to start working with me literally this afternoon. I can build your database this afternoon. We get your dashboard built over the weekend, finish it up on Monday, can be emailing all your clients on Tuesday, letting them know you're still in business, okay? Because most consumers right now, you know what they're thinking if they don't hear from their agent? Must have left the industry, right? Agents aren't selling houses these days. Everybody's quitting. That's not true. We deal with a whole bunch of professionals across the board, and we need to help them stay in front of their clients, prospects, and friends. So that's why we're doing this on the weekends, okay? Hopefully, you're going to subscribe to our program, and we're going to get you in front of all your clients to let them know that you're still the professional, you're still in business, you'll be here when the storm ends. That's what it's all about today. That's the urgency we're trying to build. So if you have any questions right now, I've got a couple different Q&As. I got a couple different ways for you to ask. Let's just open up the chat box on the right-hand side. And Ozra, you're still, I believe you could still hear me. Okay. You're the only one that had a microphone. If there's any questions, let's type them in the chat box here. There we go. If there aren't any questions, you can give me a call. Here's my phone number, please, 570-510-3507. It's Albert Clark, 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 at homeactions, one word, S, plural, .net. Okay, so if anybody has any questions, you can email them to me or you can call me for the next half hour. My phone will be open. After that, I'm helping other Howard Hanna agents build their database today. Why are they signing up today? Because they want to get their database in and protected before other agents in the office do. You know, as much as you're friends with everybody in the office, you're still competitors, okay? All right, so that's it. Anybody wants to, I see some people that are actually emailing me questions, that's fine. I'll have a recording, a link to this presentation if you want to see it again, or if you wanted to send it to any of your friends. If your friends join Home Actions in this month of March, then you will get 2 free months as a bounty. All they have to do is call me, say, hey, Ellen told me to give you a call. I want to sign up or I want to see a demo. If they sign up, you get 2 free months. So that's worth about $100 right there. So I appreciate your time you invested with us today. Hopefully Home Actions can be that delivery vehicle to get you in front of all your clients, prospects, and friends, letting them know you're still in business. Because I got to believe some of the consumers think their agent, you know, doesn't do this anymore, right? Because nobody's selling houses. Okay, again, it's Albert Clark. Thank you very much, and I will see you later on.